Peace and assalamu alaikum. This is your brother, Bilal Abdullah Mujahid of Black Muslim in America. Checking back in. End of the fasting day. Headed to the store. I thought I'd make a little audio to share my thoughts, man. I know y'all seen that. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. But I know y'all seen that damn video where the family had that dude up in the club, had his dead body up in the club, and they were celebrating his life because he had died. So they, took his body, I guess, to the mortuary, and they put all that embalming fluid or whatever they do with it to make it rigid and stand up straight. And they literally brought this man's body to the club, and he's in the club, and they all, he's on the main stage, and the DJ cutting up, sounding like a fake DJ drama, and they up in there just having a good old time. And he's standing there with his clothes on, with his ice on, wrist wear. He got his iPhone in his hand. He was like some local rapper, and he got killed. And so they wanted to have him go out in a grand way. And I'm watching that like, oh my God. Please don't do that to me. Ya Allah, please don't let these Negroes do that to me when I die. Wash my body and put me in the grave and lay me to rest. That's what they call it, right? Put you to rest, he got laid to rest. Put me to rest. Wrap me in my shroud and put me to rest, because no, you're not about to have me sitting up in the damn club and y'all playing all this loud, sinful music while I'm standing there. And see, some people think there's difference of opinion in Islam. Some say that that you can't hear, that the dead person in the grave can't hear, like when somebody's around their grave, or if somebody's around the dead body, that the dead person can't hear. And then there's other opinion that they can. I'm more so of the opinion that you can hear, like if somebody's by your body and they're talking, or somebody's by your body playing music, or come up to your grave and say something, that you can hear, but you can't respond, because of the hadith that talks about how when you're in the grave and your family walks away, you can hear their footsteps walking away. So that's just my opinion. I could be wrong in that. But let's say he can hear. You already know what the person has to go through. As a Muslim, you know that the punishment of the grave is real. You want this nigga to have a soundtrack to his punishment in the grave? Let's say he didn't die a Muslim. Oh my God. Not only is he being tormented in the barzakh, in his grave, because the grave is just a phrase. The grave could be anywhere. Like the Prophet told us, even if you were eaten up by an animal or your body was burnt to ashes, you will be in the quote unquote grave, and you will receive either pleasure or you will receive torment in the quote unquote grave. It's basically the life after, because Allah is able to do all things, and he's able to have you a quote unquote grave, a life of the hereafter, the barzakh. So you got this man standing up in the club, and let's say he's going through these torments of the grave. You got a nigga having a soundtrack to his torment, and he's probably screaming his heart out, telling y'all, please just stop. Please just take me to the grave. I'm being tormented enough. Please take me up out this damn club. Please. And y'all think y'all doing something good for him. This is some new ignorant stuff I've been seeing happening. I seen another video of somebody in the club. I think they were sitting down in a chair or something, and they were dead. This is some new ignorant stuff niggas is doing, because subconsciously in your mind, people know that there's life after death. And that's why you do these type of things, because you know within your soul, within your spirit, within your subconscious mind, that there is some type of life after death. And we want him to have a good time, because he used to have a good time when he was alive. He was having a good time sinning for the time being, but now that nigga dead, he ain't having a good time no more. Because even if he died a Muslim and he was dying doing sin, he ain't having a good time. He might be getting punished for a little bit. So That was just wild to me, man. And I was talking to my buddy at work, and we was talking about, the life after death, the life in the grave, the life in the hereafter. And I was explaining to him how, yeah, you're alive when you're dead, but it's a different type of living. You're the life of the grave. And I started to explain to him the long hadith about what happens after one dies, and I want to share it with y'all as well. So here we go. Al-Bara ibn Azib reported, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Verily, when the believer is ready to depart the world and is facing the hereafter, angels from heaven descend with bright faces, as if their faces were the sun. With them are the shrouds and perfumes of paradise, until they sit from him a distance as far as the eye can see. Then the angel of death, upon him be peace, comes until he sits by his head and says, 'O pure soul, come out to the forgiveness of Allah and his pleasure.' He takes it out with a drop. He takes it out like a drop from a water skin and holds it, meaning his soul comes out very smooth and easily. He takes it out like a drop from a water skin and holds it, never to leave his hand for the blink of an eye until he places it in that shroud and perfume. The scent coming from it is more pleasant than any musk you would find on the face of the earth. He ascends and passes by no gathering of angels, but that they say, 'What a pure spirit!' They say, 'He is this person, son of this person,' calling him by the best names by which he was known in the world, until he stops at the lowest heaven and seeks entry, and it will be open for him. The company of each heaven bringing him closer to the heaven, following it until he stops at the seventh heaven. Allah Almighty will say, 'Write the record of my servant in the righteous register and return him to the earth. For from it I created them, and to it I return them, and from it I will take them out once again. His spirit will be returned to his body, and two angels will come to sit by him, saying to him, "Who is your Lord?" And the person will say, "My Lord is Allah." They will say, "What is your religion?" And he will say, "My religion is Islam." They will say, "Who is this man sent to you?" He will say, "He is the messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him." They will say, "How did you know?" And he will reply, "I read the book of Allah, had faith in it, and believed in it. A heavenly announcement will be made. My servant has spoken the truth. Spread out carpets for him in paradise. Clothe him for paradise, and open a gate for him to paradise. Its comforts and fragrances will come to him, and his grave will become spacious as far as his eye can see. A handsome man with fine clothes and wonderful fragrance will come and say, 'Glad tidings of what pleases you, for this was your day you were promised.' He will say, 'Who are you with such a beautiful face?' And they will say, 'I am your righteous deeds.' And the person will say, 'O Lord, begin the day of judgment, that I may return to my family and property.'" So that's the good part. That's the whole thing you go through when you die. And that's if you're a righteous person. But even then, when you're going to go up to the heavens, but you still got to come back down to your body. Your soul's going to get sent back down to your body, and you're going to be in the grave. And the grave has punishments. So even Muslims who are believers, Muslims who, have died as Muslims, some of them may get some punishment in the grave. You may have some sins that still need to get worked up out of you. So if you got music playing at your daggone funeral, or somebody coming by playing music at your funeral, I don't want to hear that. I'm going through enough already. And even if I'm one of the blessed ones who don't got to go through none of that pain, none of that torment, nigga, I still don't want to hear that. I'm chilling and relaxing in this spacious grave with the scent of paradise coming down on me, with light coming down on me, my good deeds sitting right next to me, keeping me company. I don't want to hear that bull crap. So yeah, this is why that video of that dude in that club was just ridiculous to me, man. But let's continue. We're going to talk about what happens to the person who dies as a non-Muslim, the evil soul. Let's see what that's about. So it says, the prophet continued, "Verily, When the unbeliever is ready to depart the world and is facing the hereafter, angels descend from heaven with darkened faces, and with them sackcloth, and they will sit away from him as far as the eye can see. Then the angel of death approaches until he sits by his head and says, "Oh, you filthy soul, come out to the displeasure of Allah and his wrath." He will be separated from his body like the tearing of skewers from wet wool, and he holds it in his hand, never to leave it for the blink of an eye until he places it in his sackcloth. The scent coming from it is like the most foul corpse found upon the face of the earth. They will ascend with him and not pass by a gathering of angels, but that they say, "What a filthy spirit." They say he is this person, son of this person, calling him by the ugliest names by which he was known in the world. So yeah, if your name was Little Pistol Starter, they're going to be calling you by Little Dusty Pistol Starter. They're going to be calling you by Loser. Anyway, they're going to call him by the worst names by which he was known in the world until he stops at the lowest heaven. They will request it to be open for him, but it will not be open. Then the prophet recited the verse, "The gates of heaven will never open for them, nor will they enter paradise until the camel goes through the eye of a needle." Chapter 7, verse 40. The prophet said, Allah Almighty will say, "Write his record in the wicked register in the lowest earth. His spirit will be thrown down." See, in the other one, your spirit was nicely brought back down to you. Nah, when you an evil, wicked soul, your spirit going to be thrown down. Then the prophet recited the verse, "It is as though he had fallen from the sky and was snatched by the birds, or the wind carried him down into a remote place." That's in chapter 22, verse 31. The prophet said his spirit will return to his body, and two angels will come to sit by him, saying to him, "Who is your Lord?" He will say, I don't know." They will say, "What is your religion?" He will say, I don't know." They will say, "Who is this man sent to you?" He will say, "I don't know." A heavenly announcement will be made. He has lied. Spread carpets for him in hellfire and open the gate for him to hellfire. Its heat and its flames will approach him, and he will be squeezed in his grave until his ribs press together. An ugly man with hideous clothing and a foul stench will approach him and say, "Glad tidings of what despairs you, for this is your day you were promised." He will say, "Who are you with this evil face?" He will say, "I am your wicked deeds." And he will say, "Oh Lord, do not begin the day of judgment." And this hadith can be found in Ahmad and is graded authentic. So yeah, man, you up in the club and all this is going on while you inside your body. You don't want to be having people cheering you on, and that just don't make no damn sense, man. But that's all I wanted to say. Me seeing that video just sparked this in my mind and made me want to speak something about it. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Bilal Mujahid of Black Muslim in America. Assalamu alaikum and peace.